The student loan debt crisis is haunting Americans long into their retirement. In fact, the amount of student loan debt held by our nation's seniors is soaring, up 600% since 2005 to an amazing $18 billion. So how do you pay down these debts on a fixed income? Joining me now, certified financial planner John Ventos. He is the author of the book Financial Independence, Getting to Point X, which I have seen, as a matter of fact.
Thank you.
John, let's get started by talking about these seniors with the student loan debt. What we know from the GAO, the General Accounting Office, is that 80% of that debt is from their own education or re-education. So I thought they were all paying their kids' debt. Apparently that's not the case. What would you tell somebody who is already a senior citizen who is facing heavy college debt?
Right. Well, first of all, that's an amazing statistic, because in my wildest dream, I would have never thought that to be the case. As far as seniors, if they're in fact in that position where they have large student loan debt on their books and they're already in retirement, the only thing you could possibly say to them at that point is don't panic. You need to go back, speak to those lenders. Perhaps you could work something out just simply by speaking to the lenders. One of the biggest mistakes people have made, and that's why a lot of these seniors are in this predicament, basically comes back to the fact that they didn't make loan payments on time, and then they ignored it for years. Could have been for other financial reason, unemployed for a period of time, death in the family, who knows what. But when you add the interest and penalties on top of everything else, a $50,000 student loan could easily turn into a $300,000 or $400,000 student loan.
That's painful. And we hear from people all the time who say, you know, I've had people on the show say, Jerry, I'm going to be paying this debt until I die, basically. It's going to be with me forever. Consolidation is a good idea, trying to negotiate a lower rate. A lot of people are going to be trying to look at forgiveness packages, is my guess, which means all that debt is going to revert to taxpayers. Right.
And for unfortunately, a great deal of these seniors that we're referring to will literally carry that debt into their grave. It's going to be forgiven eventually, but they will end up, unfortunately, one day passing away with that debt there. One of the unique things about student loan interest, unlike a lot of other debt that you get into, bankruptcy, it's very, very difficult to qualify to forgive that through bankruptcy. Although there are some cases where that has been allowed. But
it's rare, my friend.
Yeah,
Take a look at these numbers, because this really tells you what the problem is. So 1967 to 68, average tuition and fees, $2,100. Look at it now, 8,000 times 4, times 4. So you've got to think, if the boomers are having this much trouble, what's going to happen to the millennials by the time they get to retirement?
Couldn't agree with that more. It's a frightening number that you're giving us there. The way I look at it, an education is perhaps the best investment an individual could make. But just like any investment that we look at, it's a question of what is your rate of return going to be. It's foolish in many cases. If you're going to be spending $50,000 or more per year for an education, well, that job you're going to get down the road, it better pay you an awful lot of money. Because if not, that state school or that city school, which would have been a fraction of the price, same quality education, but for a fraction of the cost.
You can't be willing to pay absolutely anything for a commodity. And I'm sorry, education is a commodity. John, thanks for coming on the show tonight. Great to chat with you.